This weekend interview is powered by Shocks, the world-leading open-ear headphones pioneer. Shocks is kicking off their end of financial year sale now, up to 27% off from all product range. Check it out via the link in the show notes and use code IRP15 for an additional discount.
This weekend's guest on the Inside Running podcast recently came fifth in both the 1500 metres and the 5000 metres at this year's national championships over in Perth in what were stacked fields. He has some of the best range in Australian distance running and got the win at the 5000 metres at the Adelaide Invitational this year. Back in 2017, he won the Hong Kong Diamond Mile. Welcome to the Inside Running podcast, James Hansen.
Thanks for having me, Brady. Great to finally be on and get to have a good chat with you.
I was just saying that off air, Jimmy. I feel like we've said your name plenty of times over the last 7 years. I think we've been going, something like that. So it's good to actually hear your voice on the show, though.
Yeah, and it came at a funny time. I was just kind of saying to you, I've just been getting into the podcast a bit, getting me through my long runs, hearing you boys talk about your week, and yeah, I remember back in the days when you were doing, was it Tell Me Your Tales with Harry? I feel like that was one of the first podcasts I ever listened to. So
He was one of our first guys as well. Like, I feel like he was the first episode actually on Tell Me a Tale. So we're talking about, the very genesis stage of my podcasting journey involved Josh Harris, which I'm sure we'll get to a bit later on. But tell us where you joined us from, Jimmy. You're down there in Tassie. What have you been doing? We're recording this on a Tuesday. What's your day looked like?
yeah, in Tassie at the moment. So in the moment, like yeah, it's pretty settled down here, but in Launceston. So day to day, I actually had a day off, which was nice. So it's just been cruisy, gearing up for the race on the weekend. So um, training's kind of lightening down a bit this week, which is nice. So everything's you know geared towards recovery and getting myself right for Lonnie on the weekends. Always like those race weeks where you can freshen up a bit.
What's it looked like between like the track season? Did you have a bit of time off before you got into things again, or you just kept the momentum rolling like you were over in Japan for the ASICS speed race? Like, have you kept the fitness going, or you had a bit of a break?
Yeah, I went through. I was kind of in two minds. Like I think in the back of my mind, I wanted to be in shape that if I did make a last minute decision to go overseas, I was ready to go. And I knew, like for me being down here, Lonnie 10's always a pretty big race. So I knew I wanted to keep myself in really good shape up until then. So yeah, I've just been pretty much building since nationals, and I guess having years going away to Europe and stuff, my season tends to feel like I should be peaking around July anyway, so it feels right now. But yeah, we've got a baby due in end of July, so a bit hard to get away this year. Be very risky. So
Okay, so a domestic season on the roads, a bit of prize money for you, hopefully. Like we've seen you, I spoke about your range in the introduction there. Like that's the plan to hit up as many Australian domestic road races as possible in the next couple of months.
we'll just see what happens. Um I don't have, it's a weird thing right now. I don't have a plan outside of Lonnie because it's just been like my whole season's been let's just see what happens this year, and we'll get to it. But I think yeah, if Lonnie goes well, I think I just want to keep building throughout the month and might even throw out possibly a half at Gold Coast. Like thinking about it, honestly thought about doing it at Lonnie. Don't really know what my potential is over a half because I've only ran point to Pinnacle, but it's something that I want to try. So um, yeah, we'll see with that, but that could be a bit of fun as well with the training.
Yeah, let's go through your PBs, Jimmy, because I want to just tell people about this range, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions about them. So you're 800, 149.7, have I got that right?
Yeah, I think so. It's been that long since I broke it, Brady, but I know it's 149, which is the
Yeah. It's got a 4
That
in
was a
front of
good
it there.
day.
It's not in the
Yeah.
150s, which is good. Yep. Your 1500, which this actually is your best on points when you look at the IAAF or World Athletics ranking points there. So 336.8, which was at the Nationals, which you must have been stoked with that.
Yeah, I honestly was, Brady. Like, I didn't know if my 1500 days were behind me. I hadn't, apart from doing Tassie State Champs, I hadn't ran a 1500 for a year and a half. And you kind of go into these races, especially with the level that it's at now, you're just like, I just hope I'm not back in the middle of the field and everyone's talking about you as being a has been type of thing. So I just wanted to go there and give my all. But yeah, I was really, really nervous leading into that race, but it was the best I've ever felt in a 1500 by far. And interestingly, it felt like the most natural race to me, which I guess you do all this aerobic training, and I always wanted to be a 1500 runner. And that's why I did it. But I think I probably went a bit too far that way that I thought I'd lost it. So to do it was, pretty, pretty special. And there's a little bit of a story behind that as well. Um, if you know Richard Welsh, he runs Epic Events Marketing. He um he saw me running when I was quite young, running a national title, and at that time, I don't even know if a Tassie had broken 340, and I think I ran 356 for the 1500 at that meet. And he said at that race he saw a time in his head that I'd run, and like for the last like 10, 15 years, he's always said to me, he's like, you're not there yet, you're not there yet, you're not there yet. And then after I ran that 1500 at Nationals, he said, you finally hit that time that I saw in my head that day. So that was kind of cool because, same thing. I didn't know if I'd ever hit that time that he saw or what it was, but I don't know if that means my days are done, but it was just a little bit of a cool story behind that time as well.
You've hit the ceiling now, according to Richard. Get up to the longer
Yeah,
distances. There's
so
no more to come.
that might be it. Yep. Just needed to do that and we've ticked the box. So
Hey, go into more detail about the nerves. Like that was a loaded field. You had Cam Myers there, Ollie Hoare there, Adam Spencer. Stewie wasn't there, like a bit of a notable one who was missing. Jack Anstey, like 1500-meter running at the moment is so strong. I've probably missed a couple of guys as well. But you get really nervous on start lines, or it's something you can kind of manage.
when I was younger, I was terrible. Because I grew up doing little athletics and I remember going to state championships when I was younger, and I'd be the kid like vomiting behind. If you've ever been to the Domain, there's a cliff, and I remember actually going to one of my races and vomiting behind where the cliff goes down, and then basically running the race, and I won the race, which that was a good feeling because if you vomit, you can still go all right. But I used to get so nervous, and then over the years through training and working hard, I feel like I've just developed a lot of confidence and just a calmness around me. Like I really trust the process. But nationals this year, for whatever reason, I just got nervous again, and it's always when I don't have any kind of control of the outcome, if that makes sense. Like especially around the 1500, I felt like yes, I've done a lot of aerobic work, I've done a lot of this and that, but I knew that I really didn't know what was there when it came to going with those guys, and I think that unknown. Um, that's what really put me in a place where it was made me nervous, but it never, it doesn't obviously hurt your performance, but it's not much fun. You go, geez, I don't know if I want to keep doing this feeling. But apart from that, like normal races and stuff, I think I'm pretty calm, but I think that's because I've got a bit more confidence in my training. So yeah, it was interesting to have that.
Did you have a plan going into the race? Like, do you go, hey, this is how I think it's going to unfold. This is someone I'm going to maybe shadow in the field. Like, what do you self coached as well? Like, have you got someone you bounce these ideas off?
Not really. Yeah, I didn't really have a plan either, which probably the way I raced goes to show a little bit. Like I wish I probably backed myself a little bit more in the race based on the heat, but I guess I just wanted to listen to my body as much as possible. I think really like to focus on, that self-awareness with your body and understanding with where your body's at and not going over that line too much. To just have that awareness, even if the pace is pushing, just to know where your limits are and to finish really strong. Um, which I was really happy with my finish because, I mean, you've probably seen a few of my races, Brady, but I'm usually the guy that gets run over the top in the last furlong. So to be one of the guys that was kind of closing at the end of putt, yeah, yeah, always the bridesmaid. So and it's not a nice place to be, but yeah, to have that strength in the legs and feel like you were able to run over the top a few people, whether it was the bike arb, it might have been that, but still feels good.
Yeah, you spoke about that, I think, in one of your post-race interviews after Adelaide, like winning a big kind of race. Like it feels like we've been seeing your name in fourth, in third, in second, in fifth, like in all these like super top end competitive races. And we speak about the Australian scene, about how competitive it is. Like you were always around the mark, and getting that win at Adelaide must have been like a bit of a relief, kind of lifted off your shoulders in a way.
Yeah, well, Adelaide, honestly, I've gone into like I've come into this season with probably not a lot of confidence. Maybe some of that was that I was training with Sammy Clifford and we had no idea what type of shape he was in. So I'm just here in Launceston getting absolutely dropped in sessions. Um, but but yeah, like to actually win a race was a great feeling, and to feel that confidence that it's like you can actually finish strong. And a lot of the time it's been difficult because it's like I think I was 20, what was it, 2014 nationals, and I came fourth to a race that had like Gregson and Risley and Brenton Rowe and all those guys, and I was like fourth then, and it feels like I've only improved over the years, but it's like my places remain the same. So it's been a journey, and I mean it's cool to, I guess I've been able to see just athletics grow and how we're, as a sport in Australia, like the level's just insane to where we've got to.
It must make you also proud that you're still in that like arena, like competing, like with these big dogs. It doesn't matter who the big dogs are at the time. Like you've been there for a stack of years.
Yeah, it's a funny one. I'm sure you probably feel the same kind of feeling, like it it's great, but at the same time it's like you've always got to focus on your own journey as well a bit, because it's like if you get too caught up in going, all these guys are so far ahead of me. And I guess you go into this sport like, I had dreams. I wanted to make an Olympic Games and do these great things, but it's almost like I had to, this year especially, just pull that all back and go, look, there's kids out there obviously got way more ability than me, but I'm just gonna do what I can do, focus on my lane, and see where that gets me. And I might not be at the level those guys are, but just focus on your own lane. And think that's really important because you can always progress in yourself, and that's this year I was able to do that, which was awesome. But I think if I focus too much on going, I just can't compete with these guys anymore. I'd throw the towel in and give it up. But you've still you can still have that more in you, even if you don't think you do. So it was a real lesson for me this year to just keep having a go, throwing yourself in the arena. But yeah, I'm proud to see what we might have in a few years, like Cam Myers and all the guys that are coming through. It's Brisbane 2032 is going to be pretty cool, I reckon.
Yeah, but I think that answer just shows like your maturity as well. Like how you once upon a time you probably did get caught up in comparing yourself to others and even looking at other people's situations. Like you've never been full-time athlete, have you? But you've always been, they're the two or three guys always in front of you, the people who have been able to do this for jobs. And you could have been, I guess, really bitter about that. But instead you've kind of, as you said, worried about your lane and keep showing up, and you've, been pretty successful.
Yeah, no, cheers, Brady. Yeah, like I guess, yeah, always worked and done jobs, and um I guess it's always difficult, but I think at the same time you find a way, don't you? Like I know you do big volumes in a week, and if you want to do it, there's no reason why you can't train to the full potential that you can outside of the job. So I think for me, it's probably only been a positive thing working. I don't think full time, even if I was a full time athlete or anything, I think I'd struggle a bit just with that lifestyle of not having that direction of work and everything too. So yeah.
Yeah. Let's go through a few of these other PBs, Jimmy. You're a 357.2 miler, which I reckon you could take a bit off that, given your 336 over 1500, and 749 for the 3K. Happy with those PBs, or you reckon there's some room to move?
But yeah, 57 mile, definitely would like to move on that. But then once again, it's like you just don't know how many opportunities you get to run a mile. There might be one a year, and you don't know what type of race it is. So um yeah, like I think there's probably more there, but I'd probably be more, I guess you look at it like a 1500, you go, what's the 109 meters? Like, I think I'm pretty satisfied with 336 now, which is a great feeling because I was just 37. I just didn't have that satisfaction in myself. Whereas 36, I'm like, feels like a bit of a, I don't know whether I'll keep doing it or what, but it does feel like a bit of a box ticked. Um, the 749 3K, yeah, I'm definitely happy with that based on where I started with 3Ks. But you see some of these guys like even Jude, like I was pretty close to him at nationals, and now he's running 739, and you go, well, you know, there probably is something there if you get in the right race, but it's having all those things, being in Europe, getting in the right race, so many things to get that performance. I could walk away with this, to be honest, like I could walk away with a 749 and be happy
Yep.
with that.
What about the 5 and the 10K? So 13:31 on the track, 13:34 recently on the roads in Tokyo, and then 28:20 at Launceston for the 10K. Is that quite quicker than your track 10K of 29:02?
Yeah. um For the 5K, that's probably my most disappointing one at the moment. I just haven't been able to get that right yet. Whatever that is, that's the one that comes a bit harder to me. That's the one I thought I might have a better shot of doing it. But yeah, the 28:20, that was above what I ever thought. Like I honestly dreamed of breaking 30 one day. So when I ran 28:20, I was pretty stoked with that. Whether it's the super shoes on the road or being a heavier boy with the super shoes on the road, I think they definitely helped me. But yeah, I thought my potential would be around what my track 10K is. So
Okay, so a super responder. Moose, who I do the podcast with, he's also a super responder, bit of a heavier guy. So yeah, he's a big fan of the super shoes.
yeah, well, I couldn't break 30 before him, and then and
No,
then
you're a talented guy. It's not the
I
shoes.
couldn't. Yeah. Anyway,
And neither
we'll
could I,
take
to be
it.
honest. And now
Yeah.
yeah, I've just snuck under a few times. I'll take that.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, your half marathon, Point to Pinnacle. So this, for listeners who aren't aware, race in Tassie has an elevation of 1,270 meters. That's an elevation gain. You pretty much run up a hill for 21K. You've won it a couple times, I think, Jimmy. I think your fastest time was now 25:54, which is about a minute and a half slower than Harry Summers's course record. It's a long way for a 1,500 meter man, for a 3:36 guy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's a long one. It's the reason I started doing Point to Pinnacle though was that I wanted to do hills during long runs, and I felt like that was like the perfect thing to have a reason to do hills for your long runs. And like the reality is, it's obviously a long way up, but you a lot of the time, like towards the end of the race, you're running 5:30, so the actual fatigue on your muscles isn't that bad. Like you pull up pretty well. It's just that aerobic fatigue that you get after the race. Like the first time I did it, I just completely underestimated that I'd need time to recover after it. But yeah, it is a different beast. But I honestly love it. It's such a fun race to do.
Do you wear a heart rate monitor when you do that? Like, do you track any of that stuff?
Nah, I don't. I've just got the. I really struggle with the chest strap one, so I've just got a Sunto. What is it? The chorus strap recently. So I'd be
Yeah,
more
they're good,
inclined
aren't
to
they?
use that. Yeah, you using that?
Yeah, I've been using it for like, oh, maybe like a year and a half, I think. And
Yeah,
it's only been inaccurate maybe, I don't know, 5, 8 times over those times. Like maybe if I've got
yeah,
like long sleeves on or arm warmers or something that could kind of interfere with it, it
yeah,
might be a bit sketchy. But I've been really impressed with how accurate it's been over a longer period of time.
yeah. Well, compared to wrist heart rate, where you look at it and I mean, I know the watch I'm using.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
guessing.
you're basically guessing. Like I know it's so much more accurate. Like you say, I don't think it's there 100% yet. Like it's not certainly where the heart rate strap is, but yeah, it'd be good for something like that to actually see what the heart rate's sitting at for that period of time, because I'm sure it's high. But yeah, you thought of doing it?
Yeah, I'd want to tick it off like one day. Like feel like we
Yeah.
talk about it every year on the show. I've watched you win it a few times. Benny Saint's been down there a few times winning it. Our
Yeah.
friend Nick Earl, he's won it a couple of times, I feel. So I don't know. I feel like if you're in the running media like we are and you're going to talk about it one year, you probably should get yourself down there and actually experience what it's all about, not just
Yeah.
sitting here talking about it. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if you know, but my town literally has no hills. So I've got to drive like 45 minutes to even run up any kind of hill. So like I'll get 45 meters for 160k mileage for the week. Like
Yeah.
there's no
Wow.
hills here at all. So
Yeah.
I'd be a fish out of water down there, climbing 1200 meters in 21k.
Yeah. No, it's a different test, but one of those things you don't really know how you're going to go up till you do it. Like you can't really properly train for something like that. I mean, I know Nick Earl was probably the only one that properly trained for it, but unless you're living on that mountain, it's hard to train for.
And I feel like you need to run it 3 or 4 times to try to get it right too, wouldn't you? Like know the course and know when to push back and pull forward.
Yeah, I think it's just that probably self-awareness piece of knowing your body's limits, and you want to get through 10K feeling pretty controlled because it's a weird feeling when you look at the 5K to go mark and you've got over 25 minutes. Like you don't have that often in a race that you think I've got to control this control this effort, and you don't know what wins you're going to get. Like, um, yeah, I've never had a race either where it's like you want to put on more
Mm.
clothes up the mountain, but you can't.
Makes things interesting. Hey, tell us about training at the moment. So, like self-coached, do you have someone you bounce ideas off? What does training week look like for you to be able to get this kind of like recent success?
Yeah, so um, at the moment, like yeah, I mean, I've been self-coached for how long now? Probably since 2017, 2018, I think. So a fair bit of time, but throughout the time, I had a lot of influences that had a huge impact on me. Starting with my junior coach, Faye Denham, then I had Peter Fortune, who was Kathy Freeman's coach, and Jimbo Fitzgerald, bit of Ken Green in there, um, Richard Huggins, Jack Russell. So I've had a lot of different influences, which I guess has kind of built my philosophy around running and everything. At the moment, like it is very independent, I guess, and I'd love to have someone there to speak through stuff, but it can be quite hard here. I've got a good mate, Dougie Hammerlock, who you'd know, Brady.
Yep.
He's great, and he's stepping into the high rock scene now, but he was a massive like Strava nerd as well, so he knew what people were doing, like especially with double threshold stuff and people that are really at the top. So he's always good to have a chat with him about and talk about different training ideas and stuff. Because for me, I guess my philosophy is I'm not too stuck to any one method. It's like I just want to keep progressing and trying new things and really experimenting with my body to see where I can take it. I find that's fun. Um, that's fun, but at the moment I'm probably a bit more on that like double threshold. I guess I've been doing that for about a year and a half, just because it was like I thought this thing, you see it with Inga Brits and Result, and you see what people are doing, you're like, it's big, and I probably having that control of my program myself, I had that ability just to switch pretty quickly into that. So I've probably been doing that for 2 years now. But yeah, do you want to know like what a week looks like, or
I would love to, mate. Talk us through like how big are these double threshold days? And yeah, take us like our audience love these kind of details. So give us some paces, how long you're out there for, even your easy days. Like what do they look like Monday through to Sunday?
Hey runners, with Gold Coast and Sydney marathons just around the corner, there's no better time to level up your training kit. Shocks, the global pioneer in open ear headphones, is running their end of financial year sale right now with up to 27% off on their entire range. Whether you're logging long miles, heading to the track, or planning your next adventure, there's a Shocks model built for your rhythm. Sweatproof, secure fit, and race day ready. But don't wait, this limited time sale wraps up on June the 11th. So head to the show notes, hit the link, and find the pair that moves with you. Run clear, run safe, run with shocks.
I've just done probably the biggest week of my life, so I can probably take you through that one last week. Um,
Awesome. That's what we want.
yeah, so like Monday at the moment, I'm just doing like, so the morning will be like an easy run. So that might be like 40 to 50 minutes easy. Um, and then I usually run those like pretty easy. I'm usually like, it could be 4:30s. I'm usually probably not much quicker than 4:30s type of thing on my easy day. Like I just go on effort. And honestly, it's weird. I don't feel like I can run much quicker than that. Like I'm a bit of a plotter on jogs. So that's usually pretty cruisy. Um, I gym as well, so I'll get my run done. I'll gym, and then I'll get a swim in as well. So I swim 3 times a week. I do. I've got my own my technique that I do. I call it the dead man paddle. So it's basically where you're jogging with your head under the water,
Oh, so it's like a water running session.
kind of. But it's like it's more recovery than anything. Like I'm probably not getting much benefits from it, but I just find getting in the pool and focusing on breathing. I found that's really helped me a lot. So it's like I'm pretty much like running arms and kicking, but with my head under the water to like hold my breath a little bit. So it's a bit rogue.
Okay. And you
I
got that from somewhere, or you just invented it yourself?
just no, my problem is like I put on like size very easily. And if I swim, I my elbows just like come out and I just can't run properly. So I was told by one of my older coaches that I needed to stop swimming. But then as soon as I stopped swimming, honestly, my performance went backwards, and it's like such a small thing. So I basically invented the dead man paddle out of that to keep the running arms and be able to swim 3 times a week. So
Okay. And just on like
yeah.
your like build, like I feel like whenever people talk about you, and we've probably done in the past, but whenever I hear other people talking about you, it's always about how jacked you are. Like how doesn't look like a normal runner. He's got massive arms, like looks like he could fight anyone in a octagon kind of thing. Like when you say you're going to the gym, you're not doing like massive bicep curls just to work on the beach body, are you? Like this is just your natural kind of build.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to touch, like, I'm not allowed to touch a bicep thing. Like, I do not touch upper arms one bit. Because yeah, it would be bad if I did. So I just like full on, like my whole gym's completely legs. Um, so yeah, like even just recently before Japan, I started swimming again, and then like just my arms start coming out again, and it's just like you're like, yeah, no, this isn't good.
Do you get annoyed people talking about it? Like all the time? It's just like Jimmy Hansen, he's jacked. Like, or you like take it as a bit of grain and salt, whatever.
Like I guess it's good being the big boy. Like you like being a bit bigger, but at the same time you realize we're in a game where there's a reason other people are built the way that they're built. And it just being like that's not gonna help me in any way. But yeah, it's probably got a lot to do with my mindset. Like when I was younger, I was I had this like crazy gym routine that I'd do. So every night I'd do a 10-minute brace, 50 push-ups, and then I'd do like this huge core routine. And I think that just like built this base, and now I can never get rid of that. So so yeah, but I spent years and years doing this one. It was like this exact same workout. Which I think that mentality helped me a lot when I transitioned to running. But yeah, that's why I struggle to lose that upper body, because I think the muscle memory comes back pretty quickly for that stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's a good problem to have. Most of us look like we can like snap pretty easy, whereas you look, you don't look like a traditional distance runner, and you can, yeah, fill out t-shirts. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think Bunny Diddick was think he thinks I'm a bit too small for a medium, so he was trying to get me in a. He finally got me in a large singlet, so I think he was happy about happy about that. But yeah.
Okay, so we're only on Monday. I knew we'd jump through a few
So
rabbit
Monday
holes as we
got a
go
bit
here.
lost.
That's all right.
Yeah, and then so PM's a like another easy run. We've got a run club that we do here. So similar thing, we do like 45 minutes, 10K. Only adopted this recently, and I reckon it probably helped me with the 1500. But I've started doing some sprints on the Monday as well. So I'll just do 4 to 6 by 10-second hills with like 2 minutes recovery, and then also started doing some plyometrics as well before that sprint session. And I've found that's actually helped me a lot because I'm someone, when I get fatigued, I really shorten my stride and don't have much spring. So, I just do some boundings, some single leg hops, and some pogo jumps, just basic stuff. But I've just found doing that has helped me a lot. So that'll be that day. And then, yeah, Tuesday this week was morning 6 by 6 threshold. So I'll just go and do that on the treadmill. And then in the evening, at the moment, I'm like pretty maxed at what I'm doing. So I did 25 by 75 on the treadmill, and they're off 30 seconds recovery. And yeah, I was hitting the treadmill. I reckon you get a little bit extra, but I was hitting, I think from 10 onwards, I had them at 240k pace the other day. So I was hitting them pretty solid. So the morning session I do really controlled, and then the evening session I let myself go a little bit harder, let my heart rate get to about 175 with that.
And how high would it get to in the morning one?
Morning, morning, I'm like max 160, but I'm more around like the 155 range for it. And I found that works.
So that'd feel so relaxed for you, wouldn't it? Like you're just getting mileage.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's just that, I guess that kind of real just pace you could hold for probably marathon type of effort feel, that type of pace in the morning. But I found that worked best for me with experimenting a bit with the double T, just having the morning really easy and then the PM a little bit stronger, which I guess a lot of them do, but I was trying the opposite. I think coming from the Australian distance running scene, you want to get everything done early and then you want to relax in the evening. But yeah, I find it's a lot easier to get the quality in the evening if you do the morning cruisy. And
What kind of paces do you sit on for those 6 minutes,
for
Jimmy?
the 6 minutes, I'm probably about 18, 18.1. I'm trying to think what that is, like 315 to 319 K pace. But yeah, on a treadmill again, I reckon. Yeah, I
Yeah.
reckon you get a bit extra on the treadie.
Yeah, I don't know. Perceived effort on the treadie always feels like it's like you're going faster though, I find. But yeah, you've done it more than I have.
Yeah, yeah. The winter days are tough here, so I've enjoyed doing a lot on the treadmill.
Yeah, that's a big day. So then Wednesday's pretty easy.
Wednesday's pretty much the same, yeah. Um, Not doing probably the sprinting, but just like two easy runs with the swims in the gym. Thursday, Thursday this week I did just a really chunky long run, but I like to do a solid long run effort. But I don't do this weekly either. Like this might be something I do every 2 weeks. So I don't necessarily just long run every week, but I'll feel like, yeah, probably every 2 weeks I need it. But yeah, I've just like worked up. So, um, and I'm doing probably like around one similar heart rate to the Tuesday, but yeah, probably like 345k pace for 345 to 350k pace for like 2 hours. I think I was like 210. So that was my longest run ever, actually 35k, which is long, but yeah, I've found those strong long runs. I get a lot out of those.
Over hills and stuff too, or you stick to the flat?
Pretty flat, yeah. Some small hills, but mostly flat.
Okay, this is a solid week up to here.
Yeah. So Friday's the same. Friday's the same. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they're all the same. Um, and then what I do on Saturday. This week was like a bit. I did park run in the morning. So I did like 14, 30. I tried to go through in like 10k effort, like 5k effort. So it was like 14:30 for that. And then I finished with some 400s at the end of that. And then in the PM, they call it outwash. I don't know if you've heard of outwash, but it's like 3 minute efforts. So it's like 6 by 3 minutes efforts, but probably like a bit. So you've got your 6 by 6, but this one's like a bit easier again. So I was doing it more at about 330k pace on the treadmill. So I did that in the PM as well. And then Sunday I have a rest day. So that was a big chunky week. Not all weeks look like that, but
That's an impressive week. I'm glad we had you on the podcast to recap that one.
that was a chunker. obviously the
Okay.
biggest one ever.
Yeah,
So,
it's not every week. And please don't try copy that if you're listening. There's not many people in Australia who could handle a week like that.
but yeah, it's obviously there's a progress to that over a season, and this is probably getting to the point right now where it's like I'm trying to hit that really big week. But I've worked this up, starting from a lot smaller, the threshold session's a lot smaller, but brick by brick, you're kind of just building this up where your body can, you know, handle that. Well, you hope it can anyway. So
Hey, it hasn't all been smooth though for you. You had some issues. Like, didn't you have a blood clot on your brain? Was that? I hope I've got that right. A few years ago, like that must have been really scary if that's what it was.
yeah, I was out on a run one day, and well, I'd actually been in Melbourne for a week before that, and I'd been suffering these really bad headaches. And I was training with like Jeff Risley and Pete Bowl and a few of those guys. And like I had this one day where I was like at work, because I do at the moment, I'm like doing call center work for Telstra. So I'm on the phones, and I was just like working, and my whole like head just went foggy, and I called the ambulance, but they couldn't find anything. So as you do when you're a bit obsessive as a runner, next day you're out training, even though because they said it was fine, they said it was just a sickness or something. So you're back training pretty quickly, and anyway, I did a pretty good session with this clot in my head, which is a bit scary looking back now because I was getting headaches, but I thought it was nothing. And anyway, I was out on a run with Dougie Hammerlock, and felt this shooting sensation go up my body, and I was like, that was weird. And then I was basically standing there at a traffic light, and my hand went like was like paralyzed, and I was like, oh, maybe it's because it's cold or something. Like my hands got a bit withered, but yeah, couldn't couldn't move my hand, couldn't do anything. So um, I told Dougie I was fine and told him to keep going, which was stupid. But I thought I was fine, and then yeah, I was like, "Nah, this isn't good." So I ran to the doctor's surgery, and yeah, they did a scan on me, and turned out I had a pretty serious blood clot on my brain. So that was just a pretty freak thing that happened, and it was scary because it's like, yeah, it could have certainly with the intensity that you train at and stuff, it could have caused some pretty bad issues. So, and does kill a lot of people. So I was pretty lucky to get through that one.
So, what was the procedure to like address it? Like, they cut you open and cut it out?
Nah, surprisingly, didn't have to do anything. I'm on blood thinners for the rest of my life. So they got me on pretty much anticoagulations, and that broke the blood clot down itself. And then over time, like they just did tests on my brain, and now I'm on the blood thinners. They say it shouldn't be an issue moving forward.
Okay, but it's been an issue for your iron, hasn't it? We know how important iron is with running.
Yeah, well, I've got to be like quite careful with because I've got a bit of a condition now with my like without getting into too much details, it's just like I've got really high white blood cell count. So I've got to be really careful with that because my blood's at a lot higher risk of clotting. So it's like obviously if my blood volume or anything gets really high, that can increase the risks of something like this happening again. So they want to get me on quite a strong medication, but obviously I've just been waiting to see what happens with that. But yeah, um, earlier in the year I had to stay pretty much anemic, and then I saw another specialist who gave me a secondary opinion and said, no, I think you don't have to be at that level. Like so, that's actually been positive for me to be able to do that, and probably had a big impact on later in the season when I could run a bit better because I mean, it wasn't a great thing having to be anemic and going to races, having that mindset too.
Yeah, well, that's incredible that you're still competing at that level. Like, we know how important it is, and um, yeah, you would have just been feeling flat all the time, wouldn't you?
Um, like yeah, like pretty tired, and I just wasn't feel. I guess I just was feeling that 5 to 10% off what you normally do. But yeah, like having the effects of it, it's certainly not something that you want to muck around with. But I guess that's the importance of having the right people in your corner and people that you can trust and stuff, and feeling confident with the hematologist that I have at the moment. I feel pretty confident with the direction we're going, but it does mean that I've got a ticking probably with my white blood cell count, it's just going up and up. So it probably does give me a bit more of a ticking time on how long my career is, which I guess is kind of like a tough thing, but probably a little bit of an exciting thing to go. Let's make the most of it while you can, because you don't know how long you have with this either. So um, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really does flip the mindset, doesn't it? That there might be only X amount of races left.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, it's hard to know, but I guess too, it's just more the fact if I have to go on these iron medications, the performance is probably not going to be there. Not to say I won't be able to compete or do that stuff, but it's just like at that really high level where the 1 to 2 percenters make a difference. That's where it's going to be a big one. So
Yeah, when you're up against your guys. Hey, talk to me about the running culture in Tasmania. Give me some pros and cons. Because I'm going to give you one of the pros I see is everyone's super laid back down there, like the Dougie Hammerlocks, the Josh
yeah,
Harrises, Sam Clifford. Has he immigrated to New South Wales, Sydney, maybe now? But everyone who comes out of there seems to be super relaxed.
yeah, definitely. Like yeah, I think it's great in the sense like when we're all together, it was great, and I think it's just one of those things like one person setting the level brings other people up. Like I feel like Harry was that person that kind of showed a lot of us how to train, and then through him, a lot of us learned how to, to train hard, I guess, and to push yourself and do different things in a different way. Um, and like obviously with Sam, when Sam was in Tassie, it was great to be able to do runs with him, but it has been a little bit difficult the last few years since I've been back because obviously I've lost Sam. I've got Dougie there running on the treadmill every so often, but a lot of the stuff I do by myself. You can get a little bit lonely, which I know you do a lot by yourself too, Brady. But it's like it's nice to have the option sometimes, isn't it? But at the moment, it kind of feels like it's
Mm, yeah.
the option isn't there as as much, and um, yeah, it's died off a little bit, I think. But then it's also crazy when you just see like Millie Clark running around the street somewhere, and you go, "Geez, we're doing pretty well for like a small little town."
Oh yeah, you guys have done a great job with the people that have come out of there, and like a pro's got to be the good races down there too. Like I feel like we've Launceston, Bernie, Brian Lyons is putting on his race now. That is at Bluff to Boat Ramp, um, Hobart, like run the bridge, Hobart Marathon. Like feels like there's always the carnivals, I guess, over summer. Like there's always some great racing to have down there.
Yeah, it's incredible, like the racing and um, thing too, just probably the way they can shut the roads down and nice flat races that are fun. So um, yeah, and it's so good to have people willing to travel too. Like we're pretty fortunate to have like the caliber of people that we have come down for some of these races. Like Lonnie's going to be insane um, with the list they have for that. So it's yeah, it's really cool to see that progression. And I guess it probably inspired me onto the roads being younger. You only do track stuff, and then you see your heroes like people like Benny Saint or Liam Adams and stuff like that back in the day, and you see those type of guys race, and then you go, I want to do stuff like that at a time. So it's definitely probably encouraged me to get on the roads a bit more. And
Yeah, you're spot on. Like even I remember seeing guys like Michael Shelley and Marty Dent, like Scott Westcott. Like that's the first time I can remember seeing those guys in the flesh. Like you wouldn't see them at a local Athletics Victoria race, but you'd go down to a Launceston 10K and you're like, oh, these guys are the real big dogs of our sport. And it was super inspiring to see them race on like I guess Australian soil because you often saw them on the TV.
yeah, and like the same thing, like how cool is it being young, growing up, and you see them. I mean, you start the race, and then you look up, and they're 1,500 meters down the road, and it's just the most crazy thing when you're just like a plotter. Um, so that's kind of been cool to grow up doing those races, getting absolutely hammered, and really, I guess, I think that always makes you look up to people more when you get hammered by them. Um, and then to be able to actually compete in sometimes it's like quite surreal to go, oh, this is got to get to that level, but to have it in your own state, which Lonnie, we don't get much stuff like that, so it's nice to actually have those type of things that feel big that you can share too with your friends and have your family there that probably wouldn't usually come and watch your race. I think that's probably the most special thing.
The community would get around it too, wouldn't they? Like, I think I'm really trying to rack my brain here. I think I was at the pub with you after you won, Lonnie, one year. I was only there for maybe an hour. I reckon Zach and Newman was locked in to like stay the night, but that's a big arvo on the beers potentially when you're the local boy and you win the local race and the whole community gets around you. You wouldn't be buying a beer that night.
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm trying to think back. I remember having a couple beers with Zachar, and it was, yeah, it was good fun. Like it was definitely, I think probably just like at the end, like people probably see it in your state more because I mean in Lonnie it gets like something like that probably is not going to get on the news in Melbourne, but they're going to put something like that on the news, local news in Lonnie. So you're going to have your wife's grandma tell you well done, and all those like people that love the 6 p.m. news get around you type of thing. But yeah, I think there's nothing like enjoying it with your mates and people that have been on the journey with it too, because obviously, you know, I think
Yeah.
you're the people that understand what you've been through, don't you? Like I'm sure you know that with your marathon block and stuff. There's nothing like doing it with other people that have been on that journey. And some people it just looks like a race, but it's like so much more than that.
Yeah, you're spot on. What about who do you look up to in the sport, Jimmy?
Who do I look up to? Just trying to think. It's a great question. I feel like I was very, very privileged in the sense that I like got to really be around like people that I looked up to, like Jeff Risley and um like well, Jeff was like pretty much one of my heroes growing up, and getting to be around him and just like learn how he trained and everything like that. That was pretty special to be able to do that. And then in the same regard, it's like you get to be around your heroes, and then you realize at the end of the day, everyone's just people, if that makes sense. Um, and like when your heroes become your mates, I wouldn't say I like
Hmm.
look up to anyone. I really admire people that have done, amazing things. People like Nicola McDermott, people like Stewie McSwain, Ollie Hoare, Cam Myers. Like I just admire the way he just goes about it and his maturity. Um, and then obviously like, people like even like Inga Britson and stuff like that, like just people that are so confident in what they do, they talk the talk and then they walk the walk. Like I really just love that ability. It's not something that I can do probably in myself. Like I wouldn't have the confidence to do that, but people that I can actually do that and then walk the walk, I just admire that. But yeah, I feel like that's probably yeah, like even like Seth. Love the way Seth goes about it. Love the way Semi Clifford goes about it. Like there's just so many people that I'm just really just admiring the way they're attacking things and their performances are showing.
Yeah, good answer. And this weekend, you'll get to race one of the guys that you just mentioned. This will only our Patreon supporters will hear this next bit, but you and Stewie are the two headliners for this 10K at Launceston. Stewie hasn't been sighted in a while. What are your thoughts? You're only talking to a small kind of audience now before this gets released in a couple of weeks, but how's the confidence? How fast are you going to run? How are you going to handle him? Have you got any inside word of what kind of shape he's in?
It's a great question. I don't think anyone knows where Stewie's at the moment. So you might know them more than me, but he's certainly not someone that you'd underestimate. So I mean, I'm just going to go in going, I've got to give my absolute all into this. All that like I've been working really hard. I've had probably the best consistent patch that I've had in a long period of time. So I couldn't feel any more confident that I've done the work. Um, so I think I've just got to go there and have confidence in myself. And I think having that probably 28:20 on the board when I ran it that day, that gives me confidence that, well, if we go through in 14 minutes, like I should be able to try to at least handle that and go with that. So yeah, I want to just compete and see what happens at the end. So we won't know. I think it's going to give us a good read on where Stewie's at anyway. But yeah, I'm just really excited. Like the race I did at City de Cas the other day, that felt probably the best I've ever felt in a race. So I didn't go in like with an intention to smash myself. Like it was more a controlled effort. So to run that type of time, that gave me a lot of confidence that I think I can do something special. Hopefully.
Good luck. I'm looking forward to watching the stream. Some big names down there over the weekend. It's going to be great to kind of tune in after a couple of people be banging out their long runs early Sunday morning, so they can get back and tune into that one.
Yeah. No, it'll be cool. Like the half will be cool. I'm a little bit disappointed. They've like obviously the half's got the world label, and I don't think you can get that for the 10. But the 10K's always been that premier event. I feel like the half always disappoints at Lonnie really. So hopefully they can have a good race that puts it on the board. But yeah, the 10's like it always feels like the exciting race. I mean, it's a boring course, so there's not much to watch on a stream for an hour either. So I think 30 minutes is nearly enough for people on that course, but it's nice and flat for us.
Yeah, I was the same, and I don't know if it was just because I was turned into a bit of an old bitter guy, but I'm like, hey, the 10K is the main thing at Launceston. Like, let's fill that up. Like, I get it why half marathons are so much more popular and the label and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I've grown
Yeah.
up as Launceston 10 being the best 10K road race that you put in the calendar and you get to. And you want to really, if you ever win that or come top 5 or top 10 or whatever it is, that's something to hold your hat on. Whereas I think it's now going to be easier to do those things because the depth's going to be in the half marathon.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. But yeah, I mean, it will be good to have another strong half in Australia, won't it? Because what is it like Gold Coast is a real standout, so it'd be good to have that other one here if it builds and everything. But yeah, I'm the same, Brady. We call it still Launceston 10 in our eyes. It's not Lonnie Running Festival, Launceston 10.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, and do you think you'll step up to like the marathon? Like you said, Gold Coast halves potentially on the radar. Like, can you see yourself going the 42.2?
I don't know. Like, yeah, probably not. I'll probably disappoint listeners with this, but I'm probably more chance of doing high rocks than a marathon, I think.
Nah,
But
don't say that.
but but yeah, no, I don't know. I think I'd like to challenge myself, but then I'm like, would it be good to? It's going to be hard after running to have goals, I think, and maybe it's like that thing that you do after running for me, if that makes sense. Like it's like I have a time away from it, and then I'm still going to want to run forever. But I think those times are going to be hard. So it'll be nice to keep the marathon maybe a bit more sacred, and I can go after that a bit later. But who knows? Who knows? Like it's I guess it's always the question with me. Like am I too big? Like am I going to be too inefficient? Like you got to be really efficient for a marathon. So I don't know if I'd be any good at it or not. But
If you can get up Point to Pinnacle with 12,000 or 1,271 meters elevation, I reckon you can get through 42K on the flat. Okay,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what
that's
happens. I
my
might have
that's
to.
my theory anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, yeah, I guess it's an hour 25, but different beast. But yeah, I do love the road stuff. I do love it. But I think if I have a crack possibly at Gold Coast, that'll give us a bit of an idea. Because until I even do that flat half, we've really got no idea if I can even run that or not. So
Yeah, watch this space there, listeners. Hey, last one from me, Jimmy. I always like to know if our interviewees have a book on their bedside table. Anything you've been reading lately? Anything you can recommend for the audience? Or give me a Netflix series if you're not much of a reader.
um, what have I got? I mean, a lot of people know I'm a man of faith, so I read the Bible a lot. Like that's my book that I read. Um, I read that every night. So I find that kind of like fills me up. And then I've also got a book at the moment, 21 Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell as well. And that's all about, I guess, leadership and I guess leadership starts with you. And I think like setting that example, all those habits of leadership. It's always like pretty much about yourself first, and then you can lead others. So I find they're really helpful too. But yeah, I don't know about you, Brady, but books have been massive for me over the years. I don't read enough now, but it's when I probably did struggle a lot with mindset and stuff. Books completely changed the way I thought about my mind and really shifted things, which I think's helped me run a lot longer. And I'm sure, like you must do a lot of reading and stuff to with your mindset and keeping going and keep progressing the way you are. Is that right?
Oh, I'm more now fiction, mate, just to give myself a bit of a escape. Just read something that's an easy page turner and just get lost in that world and
Yeah.
kind of switch off the mind a bit. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a few old self-help books in the bookshelf that I'm looking at the moment. So yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's a good way to
Yeah.
relax, also kind of better yourself at the same time.
Yeah. 100%.
Hey, Jimmy, finally, oh, sorry. You got some good commercial sponsors as well, like McGrath Launceston, Exceed Engineering, Lift Central Launceston, Containerland Tassie. Like and I know ASIC's Team Tempo, obviously you're always in their kit and stuff, but it must be good to have those guys on board to be in your corner.
Yeah, definitely, Brady. Like it's just good to have that extra support. Like it's not an easy sport. Like I work and it all just like helps you be able to do what you do and take that pressure off a little bit as well. So it's massive having that there, and McGrath sponsoring the running festival and then being able to support them. So um yeah, and a lot of those brands like they've supported me in the good times, but then also when things haven't been such as well either. So that's really been massive for me too. But yeah, awesome to have some support.
Been so good, Jimmy. Massive thanks for giving up an hour to tell us some stories. And I know there's a whole lot of hopefully new fans. Hopefully, people got to know you more with this chat today. So there's going to be some people, looking at their splits through the Gold Coast Half Marathon. Our Patreon supporters are going to be looking on Sunday at Launceston to see how you're going up against Stewie. So yeah, hopefully we got you some new fans as well. And a massive thanks for giving up an hour for the Inside Running podcast.
No, thanks for having me, Brady. I hope I didn't scare anyone with my training week at all, because it was a bit of a it's not a normal training week, but yeah, no, great to have a chat with you. I love listening to you guys. So keep it up, keep up what you're doing.
It's good though. Like you're training hard, which I think is kind of good to see. Like it's like you're one of the best in the country, but you bloody train hard to be one of the best in the country. Like I think that's kind of awesome to get a bit of an insight into. Like it's not easy, this sport.
Yeah, nah, and I mean I wouldn't if I didn't something I learnt a long time ago. If I don't work hard, I'm not going to be anywhere near it. So I think that's probably been one of my strengths has been that I'm willing to do the work, and you got to be careful with it all. But I guess that's the thing. If you do the work and you're consistent, and you build it up incrementally, you can keep progressing, and that's what makes you happy at the end of the day. Not really anything else like the medals, all of that, it fades, but it's like there's something about improving and getting better at something. That's what I enjoy about it.
Yeah, knowing you're getting close to that ceiling, that hopefully is still a bit more to come. Richard Welsh hasn't capped it out yet.
Yeah, hopefully not. We'll see. We'll see.
All right, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Brady. Thanks for having me.
Shock's end of financial year deals are great. Click the link in the show notes and use the code IRP15 to make the deal even greater.
Doesn't matter if it don't come back. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. Undercover of my skin, I've heard all your names. If it's all the same, I'll keep on walking. I keep holding on to the hope that all the suffering was for something. Something for something, something for something. When it's said and done, all your words and all your hate don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Don't mean nothing. Undercover